Hello. Hello, hello. How are you doing? Good to see you. Welcome to the workshop. As you can see, I have a camera right here. Maybe you can't. No, you can. Got a cam right there, and that's going to be the one that is going to be facing over the metal lathe here. And that's what I'm going to be primarily working on, or where I'm going to be primarily working on in the beginning here. So, yes. Yes, yes, yes. So that'll be cool. Let's see. How you doing? Your name is. Uh-huh. Yep. Yeah, there you go. There's your shout out. Boom. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out, coming by. Not interfering with anything, too. That's nice. That is nice. We'll back that up, you know? There we go. That's a little better. That way you can get a little bit more of the full effect of the whole ensemble here. All right, that's good. That's good. Yes, indeed. We're working on those fountain pens, y'all. They are here. So, all right, there we go. But yes, okay. So these blanks are really stinking cool. All right, here's where we are. We got these. These blanks are the ones that I showed last week, but I didn't actually get to them. But yeah, these are made by Lisa Marie over at Poorly Controlled. And these are some very interesting, very interesting blanks. And yeah, we're going to turn these into some pans. Yes, indeed. So that is the plan for today. First things first, I gotta go with the tape off. Okay. All right. So a little Scotch tape, the label tape here. No problem. That also could have just got turned away, but nah, no problem. No problem. Whoop. There we go. Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah. I'm gonna get the blanks off of all these, or the labels off of these. Hope everybody had a good 4th, if that's your thing, and was safe and had a good weekend either way. But yeah. Good time. Good time. Went to go see some family and, you know. Strategy, tape. Get on out here, tape. And Abby's actually over there working too. So we out here hanging out in the shop, getting some stuff done. Yeah. Yeah.
It's always good when you want to do things on your off day.
Yeah. So I thought about a different way to do that. I can make a mandrel and then put a little wheel on it and then drill into that wheel like a revolver and then put those pieces in and then it'll rotate.
So I'm not gonna think so.
Well, you're going to have to remind me probably if we get to that point again, because I'm going to forget. But that would be a way that you can have all of them going at once.
I don't want all of them going at once right now. That's the thing. Like, I'm not.
That's what I said. Just remind me if you do get to that point. Huh? Hmm. Peeling off labels of blanks right now. Arguably the most exciting part. Which shape are we going to do all these? Marauders? Love it.
Yeah.
Yes? Did you say yes?
Yes.
Yes. Sweet. All right. Oh, that doesn't go all the way in. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. It'll go through the initial throat part to like right here, it seems. Dude, that's right where it was. That visualization. You impressed?
Oh yeah.
Good, good, good. All right. So, let's see, how we're going to go about doing this. We're going to go here. We'll start here, I guess. It looks a little wonky, doesn't it? Yeah, a little bit. How about if we have it sticking all the way out? How wonky is that? It's going to be really wonky, huh? It's alright. What? Wonky. Wonky, wonky. Alright, that'll be alright. We'll just start over here. I just need to make sure I got enough room for this section here. So, I'm going to go ahead and trim that side a bit. So we're not going to like face it the same way. We're just going to just make it so it's flat. At least flatter. It doesn't have to be perfect right now. Just need a way to measure. There. That's pretty good. Good enough. Okay. Section. We'll go ahead and do this for all of them while we're at it. And while we got still people still trickling in, coming and hanging out on this wonderful Sunday, huh? A little overcast here. It'll be nice though. It'll be nice to have it be a little less toasty in here. Yeah, do you read their name? Any Mike. You gotta be on the lookout. Any Mike. Any Mike. Okay, so that is good. We're gonna use. Let's see. Should we use that top? Yeah, that's how we're going to do that. We're going to get this section from up here. Yes. And hopefully have enough at the very end to Well, we will have enough for this one, so no problem there. Okay, so this now is going to go back home. Alright, so we're just going to do a little bit of facing here, cleaning up the end, and then we'll do a little center start. See, just a little center start too, maybe, just a little guy. Little whoop. Okay, let's see. Feels good. I'm not worried about those. Yeah. So far, so good. Let's see. We shall. It doesn't matter which way we take this one. So we shall. This. A lot of, you know, trimming, facing. It's a lot of the stuff that you'll need to do because it's, you know, just a part of the whole process and procedure of it. So you want to have like nice clean surfaces every time, and you want to make sure everything is, you know, as flat as possible and smooth as possible so you can do what you have got to do. I'm going to trim this one down, this side down too. That way I can have a flat surface to measure off of. Make sure that your work is, you know, even though it's cylindrical, you want to make it still pretty squared as far as the ends go, and when you do other little cuts here and there. So very important stuff. And this could be done with a wood lathe and a square carbide and a 4-jaw chuck. So you don't actually need a metal lathe. I just do it over here, because that's where all the stuff is. It's got a forward and reverse, and yeah. All right, so this is the section side that I shall mock. There we go. And then if you have a design that you already like, I recommend making it, you know, part of one of your staples, having like a this is the final for the cap and this is the final for the body, so I usually give myself an extra ½ inch. So in the section, if I'm doing my smaller section, I'll do it from this side. If I'm doing my normal size section, I'll do it from this side. So this tenon is actually a pretty static measurement, which was coincidence, by the way. It wasn't actually intended to be that way, it just happened to be. So I marked it for this one, and then it happens to work out where this is the 15 to 20 millimeter. Which one have we got? Which one have we got? Let's see. Yeah, it's about 20. So 19.4. Then the other one's 25. So that's what we shall be doing. I think, yeah, there's one more. So we'll face this side here. We're not going to do a center start. And also for the barrels, I'm going to end up cutting that center start off so I can do another one once we get closer to like the final dimensions of the pin. And that's something that took me a long time to figure out. So, now you know. And I'll do it a little larger as well. I'll have my mark a little larger. That way I don't have to, you know, these are a little larger, these are about the same. And then lastly, we've got this little guy. And then we should have little dimples on all of them, except these two. This one I'm going to have to do something a little different with. But that's okay. So this is going to get squared off here. And this is going to be the barrel sides, or the booty of the barrel here. The end of the barrel. And we've got a decent amount of space, so we don't need to do any other marks really. Oh shoot, I need this to stay for just a moment longer, because we got to do this one. Alrighty, that, and then see this. This can be a good thing. It could also be, I guess, a nuisance type of thing. So let's see what we look like on the lathe when we use this center guide hole here. Because it's not a 60 degree, it's well, it might be actually. No, it looks like closer to a 135 actually. But yeah, so we're going to use this. Send that out just a bit here. And then we shall grab it from the section side, and I'm going to give myself enough room so once I take it off, I will be able to continue with my section here. Okay, so that's good enough. That's good enough. It doesn't have to be super duper, you know. At least not yet. Okay, so there's that line, here's this line. That's why I did it flat in the first place. So we're just marking our tenon here. So it'll be about there. Just so I won't be trimming to the second line. I'll be trimming just to the first line. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow me to have a nice clean surface for the cap and the barrel that I'm going to get from these parts. And then I'll have the section that I'll start working on immediately right after. And then I will repeat the process over and over again. So you, if wanting to make a fountain pen is your thing, then this is how I go about doing it. In some cases, obviously, you don't have an absolute for anything, but more of this is how I go about doing this specifically. All right, I'm going to turn the vacuum on, so it probably will be a little bit loud, but hopefully not too much so. But yeah, we'll be having the vacuum on for trimming all these down, and then, yeah, you'll just see. You'll see. Okay. And I like a clean workspace, so there's also that. And then I was able to slow this down, so that tells me it's still too loose. But I don't want it so hard that it's going to, like, smush it like this. We don't want to do that either. And, some materials are a little bit more susceptible to that. Also, with smaller diameters, you're also more susceptible to stuff like that. But in this case, we have a pretty good amount of girth or circumference. And we shouldn't run into any of those problems. So just smoothing out the surface. Like, you can see that some of these areas are a little vibratey. You see how that's like vibrating, and then it's not vibrating over here. Now I can actually see a line right here that's a little shiny, and it tells me that some of the surface wasn't actually gotten when I did the initial pass here. So I'll go here, split that, and then I'm going to do another pass, so I'm not going to worry about the tool coming backwards. But yeah, this is what I'm talking about right here. So there's a shiny spot right there, but everything else has been cut, right? So there's a spot that's not cut that I will need to do another pass. Okay, looks like we got a good clean pass this time. And then we should stop with that. And back it up. Okay, so a couple things we're going to do here. One, we're going to cut the body off. Two, we're going to cut the barrel off, or the cap off. So, let's see, there you are. Okay, so and then the other length here is 3. Or not 3. It is. We shall move it down. Okay, now what is this one at? Which will put it at 3.5. So we'll split the diff and then go right there. Because this one was a little bit shorter, so I have to be a little considerate of, you know, the appropriate spacing that I've got. So we're going to kind of favor the top middle area here. Boom. That's it. So there's that one, and then we'll cut this one. There we go. All right, there we go. Whoop. So these are the pieces, and this is also the orientation. So those marks actually showed me a little bit, but here we go. So you can see we're going to do a C and then a B, and we'll go ahead and number them as well in case any of them look similar when they get trimmed down. But I don't anticipate that being the case. So just for consistency's sake at this point, and I'm going to throw it over here in my little box there. All right. So we held it like that, and then we cut it. So we're going to face it again. Yep, just to make sure everything's going to be flat, square, and lined up and everything. Pop this live center out for this particular one here. Okay. Now we've got our die for the section. We need a Jacob's chuck. Jacob's chuck. And then I need a couple pieces here. I guess a few pieces. There we go. Drop the speed a bit. So now I've got a 9/32 and a 7mm. I'm gonna start with a 9/32. And you know, this is kind of a nitpicky sort of thing, but if you have the chance or opportunity to do so, I would recommend getting the rounded bits instead of the triangular. It'll make it easier to do this in general. Or just get good with both, I guess. Be a little nuanced. Okay, there's that. Alrighty, now the 7mm. 7mm is going to go all the way through, and the reason that is because that's the size that we need to create for the inside for the Jowo 6 tap. Yep. And then lastly, I use a plug cutter. And the plug cutter just kind of gets me in the ballpark of where I need to be for the tenon here. Christoph, hello. How are you doing? And then use this where I could use a square carbide or whatever, but then you just kind of peel back where the tenon is to your markings as well. Then you trim it down to where you'll get close, and then we'll measure and then dial it in from there. Okay, let's give that a little measure right quick. Okay. Okay, that is going to go in. Just a quick little thread, and good to go. Length of the tenon, about 7 mil. In this particular case as well, here's how we're going to do this. Do just a little bit of a recess on the hind quarters here. And then not too much, just a little touch. And then from here, if I feel that it's sharp, I'll grab some fine grit sandpaper, maybe. All right, fine. Oh, what's that one? That's 150. We want like, I don't know, 400. Okay, here we go. And there it is. From here, I'm just going to put this baby to the side. Okay. We shall. Nah, we'll go ahead and get this. It's 10 by 1. Yep, yep. It sure is. It sure is. Where is my Sharpie? There you are. That good? Yeah, that's good. Hey. Don't even really need to do it all that much on this one. It's nice. But we're still going to do it anyway. Trim it down. But yes, Mohan, it is M10 by 1. I like the by 1 instead of by 0.75 or things like that. I just like the threads better. They are a little bit more coarse, but I have found that it is less sensitive to something, I guess. Ooh, looks nice. Ooh. Ooh.
So this is make it easier for me to be like, okay, what did they do in this one?
Good stuff. Lawrence, what's up, buddy? Hope you're doing well, man. It's a good day here. A good day indeed, man. Hello, hello. Joaquim. Joaquim? Joaquim. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to Maverick Workshop. Making sections right now. Bloop. There we go. Bullet. Bum, 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 bum. You're into it just over a year? Dang, Mohan, you only been making pins for a year? Dang. All right, vacuum. Alrighty. Carriage. Adjust. Engage. That should be good. Been making pins for about 3 years now. Still having trouble getting your finishes. What are you doing? Never mind. All right, we're gonna go from the cap this time. Actually, we're gonna try to make sure we got plenty of cap. Yeah, and then the body will be fine. Okay, so we can back off the cap a little bit. That should be good, huh? We'll just go in the middle. Yeah, that's what we will do. What kind of finishes are you having trouble with? What kind of materials? Thanks, Mohan. Thank you, sir. But yeah, you're right, sir. Definitely more knowledgeable than I am. Okay, well, not definitely, just probably. She has a wider breadth. Yeah. So yeah, if that's the part of why we're here, man. So if you got questions like that, let us know. We can probably whip up something for you. Trying to get away from it. Well, all right. I'll go ahead and say my little spiel about CA and regular wood. CA, real pain, but it can be done in a variety of ways. But it is a pain. But some material I think should be CA'd. But not everything. Especially if you don't have the wood part as part of the grip of somewhere. So if you're making like a Duraclick EDC, it's not that big of a deal because you're not going to be like handling that particular part where the wood is and the polish and all that stuff very much, because it does have an actual grip section that's not a part of the blank. So in some cases, like a single body slimline, that one probably should have been CA, but I didn't. But on the other hand, if you wanted to go like that route, I would make a big deal. About it, being able to patina over time. Yeah, that's not unusual. Well, some people, well, you probably should wear respirators around the vapor stuff, and that creates a vapor. When Abby's doing a lot of CAing, if it's just one or a spot, I don't really worry about it. But if it's like a whole bunch of CA, we'll both mask up because it's not a thing you want to breathe a whole lot. Hello, how you doing? So yeah, you definitely want to keep your ability to work in the workshop by taking care of yourself. You don't use CA at all, Mohan, and that's fine, no problem. At least I don't think it's a problem. I get more annoyed. I guess this is my thing. When I see people say that they don't like using CA, in my mind, whether it's true or not, I'm like, it's because you don't know how. Like, that's what goes on in my head. It's because you don't know how, and you don't like it because you don't know how. But on the other hand, I'm not immune to that either, because I don't like CA because I don't know how to do it well. Like, I would need a lot more practice too to do a good CA finish. So I don't call just somebody else out on it. I call myself out on it, you know. Because yeah, in some cases, I think a good CA finish is going to be better for that particular thing. And it is fussy. It is very much so fussy. So if you've already tried it, by all means, go for whatever you want. But if you haven't tried it and been able to accomplish it, I don't know. In my opinion, it's like a line item. You should be able to finish that way. It doesn't have to be great. You just need to know of it and be able to somewhat do it. I think it's kind of one of those just random, there's different skills that you should have. But, and then especially towards the beginning of it, especially towards the beginning of your turning and everything, just learn everything that you can, because you might find that that particular technique, while you don't like doing it that way, it could be used somewhere else at a different capacity entirely you just didn't think about. So I also think about it like that. But yeah, I like a friction polish too. It takes like a fifth of the time. But I mean, it doesn't end up staying looking the same. So you just have to kind of anticipate that it's going to change appearance over the time of its life. And the CA could also do that, because some CAs will also crack. So if it's an older CA, potentially, it'll crack when you apply it. Or if you're like using too much activator, sometimes it'll create little bubbles and then leave little white spots on the back end of it. You don't like that either. But when it comes to just regular stuff, I mean, friction polish is so simple. You use CA to do an internal coating of wood. That's good. Smart. Very smart. All right. Here's the last. Oh, there it is. Abby took it to get some pics. Also, if you did have a smaller lathe, you would not be able to do this. This lathe, or this particular configuration right here, is pretty big, or long, I would say. But let me get a yardstick and show you. So this lathe says that it's 16 inches between centers. So that would mean that it goes all the way back here. Yeah, absolutely not. No. Yeah, my bad. I'm rocking the cam, but it says it's 16 inches, and this right here is 16 inches. That is not. I guess right here to here. My tailstock is all the way at the end. So, yeah. And then you look at what's on there. Like, if I were to put like the Jacob chuck and then a drill bit, that's not going to fit, you know, not anymore. We don't need it to, but I'm just saying. Should give you a little bit more of an idea of the size when you have other things there to kind of give it a frame of reference. Hello, how you doing? Should move from inches to meters. No, no. I mean, I already use both, Mohan. I just got to keep people like you thinking. That's why I got to say it. You got to say it like I do. You got to keep you on your toes. But yeah, there's some inch, metric, and imperial conversions I don't have issues with, but going back and forth, well, is a doozy, really. Let's see where we're at here. Just a little touch. We want to go a little deeper there. There we go. That's good. You're watching just in the shop, getting stuff done. Right on, Big Mex. Hope you're doing well today, sir. Happy Sunday. If you're a 4th of July kind of person, hope you had a good time. Stayed safe and all that. Let's see. Mohan, as far as the different types of drill bits, yeah, I know. I know it is like that. But what I actually have particularly liked about it is that you can get even more accurate using all the different types. I use lettered, numbered, metric, imperial, and I'm just going for the size that's closest to what it is that I'm trying to do, and then work my way up or down as I need to when I'm working on determining what sizes are going to be for the different stuff. So, for example, a lot of the stuff, you can look it up, and it would be like, oh yeah, for M10 by 1, you just do, you know, like a 9 mil hull, and then you do, you know, about a 10 mil tenon or something like that, because you just do a little bit of math on that, right? But it's not exact, or it's not as, it doesn't fit right. It is what I have come to realize when I'm using resin, it doesn't fit right into the hole the same way. So those rules, they work, and they're a good starting point for something like resin, but sometimes the holes will get bigger with temperature, or they'll get smaller, and so sometimes I just do a deliberate offset to where it is a different size. And so that's, you know, that's kind of where it gets more interesting, because I did a lot of test fitting stuff. So But yeah, with the drill bits, it's more like a take it for what it is. Not so much don't don't think about it so much. Because if it works, it works. You don't really need to think about it much more than that. At least that's what I think about it. But I have done the recommended tenon sizes and stuff like that, but it's not. I don't find it as good. Yeah. So I don't, Mohan, I'll be honest, man, I don't actually worry too much about the measurements of things because it doesn't work like that. Now, I'll be honest, I should know the measurements better than I do, which I don't. Like even the sequences of what I'm doing, I'll sometimes have to look and see what size of whatever it is that I'm doing. I got to see that again because sometimes it doesn't make sense, you know? It just sometimes doesn't make sense. But on the other hand, it fits better. Like sometimes I'll have to tap it with a tighter or with a much smaller one. But yeah. You have enough trouble not reading in inches? Yeah, well, to be fair, I think inches are more complicated. But that doesn't mean that I know metric better. So, yeah, when somebody's like, oh, that's a 64th off or something, I'm like, okay, it's a very small amount off. Like, or somebody could be like, it's a millimeter off. And I'm pretty sure those are actually comparable. But I don't know for sure. Because my fractions aren't super great. .3 on the hole. Yeah. Yeah, Mohan, you know what I'm talking about. And see, it's nice to have the goal, right? The target, where you want your parameters to be within like a 0.75 to 8.5 or whatever when you're measuring in metric. But, you know, like a 7 millimeter for some things. Well, a good example actually. So a 7 millimeter that I was using for brass, I was using it for the Schmidt SK88 Duraclick, but I had to switch it up because the 7 millimeter was too big, or something like that. Either way, it just was not the appropriate size for what I needed it to be. And when you go to different materials, it is something that you have to consider. So, hey Kevin, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Working on some blanks by Poorly Controlled. She is a blank maker that we met in Orlando. And she made some really neat blanks, very unlike ones that I've seen from other people. So Abby actually went and bought them. I didn't buy them. I say that as my cover because, you know, Abby makes the blanks that I use. At least my favorite ones, of course. So you got to maintain that. Well, I got to maintain that at least. Let's see. Kevin, you like the metric over imperial? Maybe they just did it to be different. Like, no. 12. 12 is great. Let's use that 12 inches as a unit of measurement. Makes perfect sense. Everybody knows they're 12s, right? So much better than their 10s. But I think it was to be different. If we had continuity, then there would be less things that were proprietary. And we can't be having stuff like that. We need stuff to not go together unless it's intended for it. Oh, man, yeah. That's what it seems like, huh? Just want to make sure nothing goes together how it's supposed to. Unless it's that specific thing. I don't want you to be able to substitute anything. Ooh, yeah, that's hot. Oh man, Kevin, I've been having a good time in WoW too, by the way. We've been staying up entirely too late. So
Summer fun.
yeah. Yeah, we've been staying up a little too late. Okay, that is good, good, good. Okay, this one is good. That is good. What we're gonna do next is get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of this little guy right here. All right, let's see. So for this one, I'm actually not going to line it up. I'm going to flip it because it's got this big thing right here, and I want to go ahead and either get rid of that or use it one way or the other. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Hmm. Yes, I do have the tenon cutter from Turner's. Oh, yeah, there it is. It's the Heinz tenon cutter, actually. Jim Hines had somebody machine it. But yeah, it's nice. All right, so this orientation is not going to be the standard for all of them. Just this particular one. And I use the tenon cutter for other things. So it does get some miles. It's just it could be inconvenient to reset over and over again. So I usually just leave it set for a specific diameter. And oh, sorry, I blocked the view, huh? Hmm. Yeah, we're gonna do that anyways. Yeah. You made for yourself? Nice. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, we're gonna need this. I'm grabbing some other components that I'm gonna need here. There we go. Okay. They machine them. Oh, he's making them now. Oh, Kevin, you've got some of those blanks before. Nice, dude. Lisa Marie is the blank maker from Poorly Controlled. The blanks that I'm using right now, Mohan, are blanks that she made that we bought from her in Orlando. No, I don't need to do that, actually. We're not going to do that. Let's do a little bit of this. Don't sell to India. Huh. Interesting. Do I create a step behind the barrel threads? Sort of. I actually did miss one of my steps, but that's okay. I can get it in the next go. Boom. So that one is done. We're going to use this one, and I am going to also use it for something that I meant to before. Whoops. All right, good night, Mohan. Have a good one, man. Rest easy, my friend. if you were, looking at this particular thing as a guide, I make pins differently all the time. So it kind of just depends on where I am at, like starting or, yeah. Most everything I have the same repeated process, but there are some other areas where I do it a little different. But, different is relative to what I used to do, and I still do it the way I used to, but I also try other ways. Oh, Kevin, no! Dang, hate when that happens. All right, so basically, what I've created here, think of this not as a barrel as much as a mandrel right now, right? Because now I have a mandrel for my sections, and this is something that I would imagine most people don't think of. But yeah, you can just make this barrel into your section tenon for just a moment at least. And I'll show you the benefit of doing that in just a moment, if you haven't figured it out yet. All right. So right now what we can do is actually just whoop, thread it right into it, right? Boom. We just thread it right into it. Now we got our mandrel, right? So all we need to do is measure the section, make sure that we got it dialed at least where we want it, right? And so I'm just going to face it a little bit. So got to be very careful if you are going to do this, because you're going to take very small amounts, because you don't want to torque it too much. And so you'll just do little teeny tiny passes until you have it the size that you want. And then from there you can do all your section stuff, right? You got your section where you're going to cut the recess for the the collar of the housing. You're going to cut the little recess for that step up shoulder. You're going to create the recess for the threaded portion as well. So that is what just happened. And so now all I got to do is thread it. And then we will be done with this section except for shaping. Right, we're going in and flip the switch. No biggie, whatever, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it came off with that. But this should save you a lot of time. And if that doesn't warrant a like, I don't know what does, man. There, boom, one section, Dunskies. And then, here you go. I could do it for each one, or I could just leave it there and then do all my sections right quick, which is what we're going to do. And then I'll go back and finish up the barrel here. So hopefully that makes sense to you. If not, well, maybe next time. Maybe next time. We are already on the money. We've already faced it, cleaned it. Oh, nope. Nope, we're going to do it anyways. I'm going to do a little cleaning pass right here. Just a little touch. Whoop. Perfect. All right, and then all the section stuff again. Here we go. Here we go. Gonna go in there, position it in there a little bit. Boom. Lock it-ish. Move forward. Boom. Okay, that's done. Now we've got this other piece. The actual tenon itself, or the tap itself, I mean, not tenon. So also, if you happen to get it really stuck like this, well, it's actually not that stuck. But if it was, there's plenty of meat here. I'm not really worried about grabbing it with a pair of pliers. Okay, all right, okay, all right. We're getting there. Getting there. Got a couple more. It would have probably made sense if people here didn't want to all of a sudden want to talk. I don't know. Maybe. I don't actually need to do anything. Thought about the game called Mandrel from one. Mandrels are pretty easy to make. I just made one. No, not me. Toothbrush. Come here, you. Hat. There. Whew. Good. Okay. Wood turning or pin kit maul. Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. Just a little measure. Let's see. Are we smooth? We're good. We good. Yeah, I like brass mandrels. Brass mandrels are nice indeed. But yeah, essentially this is a section mandrel. And you could actually use it all the way. Like right now, if I just did a little whatever. just know that you can. And there's a lot of other avenues from there that you can stem off and do if you think it would be faster or better with outcome wise. Okay, now that this one is done, I can continue, or all the sections are done. I mean, I can continue with the this barrel here. Boom. You got that double-sided mandrel. Nice. I saw that. I was like, that sounds pretty neat. And I tried to get one that was custom for the other pieces that I was actually doing, but that's alright. They also expand somehow when you tighten them. Weird. Ugh. What's... Mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm. Are you talking about the ones with like a pen in them, like an actual pen? I've got one somewhere. Here's some other mandrels that I have used throughout the time. Here's a couple other close-ended mandrels that I've had, but I hated them. Although now that I look at it, I could probably do something different with these. Huh. But yeah, these are what I used to use. I used to have another one that was like a pin. It had a little flat spot on it, and then when you rolled it, it cammed. Yeah, kind of hard to explain that one. But yeah. But I hated them. They didn't work right. But I'll be honest, I didn't use them correctly either. A little bit at least. I still don't think that they're good, but let's see, this little guy. So this is a MT2 7mm, 8mm pin mandrel, and what happens is that you squish it down, then it causes this little rubber piece to compress, and when it compresses, it forces it to expand on the walls of the inside of what you're turning, and that is what's happening. So there you go. That's what's happening. Oh, Kevin, I don't know exactly what the Twitch stream is going to be for, or when we're going to do it, or whatever. So, not sure. It's more like I just want to play and hang out. So, it will be a lot less of this oriented. We'll say. Will have nothing to do with well, a little bit, I guess. I'll talk about it here and there, but. But yeah, it's kind of like I guess another way for chilling to occur, you know, when I'm off the clock kind of thing. Alrighty. But yeah, if the pieces that you, I'd have to see what y'all are talking about as far as the mandrel stuff. Because there's a good chance I've tried it or used it. But yeah, I didn't like it because of those things. But I didn't support it very much, so I was doing it because I was trying to do closed-ended pins where it was all bespoke, no threads. And that's actually what caused it to break when I did it, because I had the wall thickness too thin as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that would point towards my fault in that, so, you know, I'll own it. I messed up a little bit, but on the other hand, if you're expecting that to do that with no no tailstock support, it's not going to happen. But it can make it so it'll rotate. So that is a pro, I would say, of that. That would make it spin and hold it on the inside. All right, one more barrel. And then moving to caps. It feels like that barrel sesh took a little longer because I did all the other side of the sections. Still trying to get that collet system? What you need? What you need? You could ask PSI if they'll give you one. They'd be like, "Hey, PSI, will you give me one of those?" They'd be like, "Oh yeah, for sure, totally." Right? You don't think they would? Yeah. Shoot. You don't get anything you don't ask for, you know. Oh, my kids abuse that one. Now I have to eat my own words, and with that, now they ask for everything. All right, not that serious, but really. But no, you're probably right. Shoot, I can't get anything either. I haven't tried, but okay. And now we are at caps. Oh, did you manage to get it downloaded, Kevin? Whoops. Let's see, Lawrence. What do you want? What they call it? You should have asked that too. You trying to accumulate stuff for bespoke pen making? You don't necessarily need all this stuff. But yeah, I don't think they would for me either. maybe affiliate, but I don't think anything. I don't think gear flow quite yet. I don't think I'm at the give you stuff to work with and share. But then again, I mean, here's the other thing. If you've got all your systems and processes refined so much, you're going to have to find somebody that can actually offer something that's better that you would want to share with the people. And because we spend all of our money figuring out that kind of stuff, it's like, well, now that you want to hang out that or want to jump on that bandwagon that I've got it going on now. You've been wanting one for a while, among other things. Dip pen holders. Yeah, man. I mean, those are cool. Those are cool. But yeah, those are pretty good sellers. Relatively low entry too, lower barrier to entry when it comes to getting acquainted with fountain pens in general, or not fountain necessarily, but getting comfortable with that type of nib. So just a lot of different things, I would say. Something with the other things like trumpet, yelper. Interesting. Yeah, there's definitely quite a few things that you can do with it, with the collet. That is, um, I use it. I use it for very minimal things, relatively speaking. Uh, considering its capability and all that stuff. But I just found that it worked for what I needed it to do, and that's it. That's it. But yeah, I haven't made much of any turkey collars or anything like that. But probably, I don't know. I probably could make turkey collars on stream, and they would go arguably better than fountain pens. But but then again, a lot of people like making them, so there's also that. You watched the history on fountain pens last night. Cool. What did you actually? What was it called? Was it a YouTube kind of documentary sort of thing? Because I've got a couple books that talk about the history of like watermen and waterman, pilot, sailor, Kaveco. There's a lot. There's a lot of companies, but it talks about like some of them going out of business, some of them having to pivot and do something a little different. Pretty cool book, but it's not in production anymore, so getting it is a little expensive. I think mine was about 100, 150 or something like that. But it's also because it's out of print. It doesn't make it anymore. Probably not a huge demand for it anyways. But it does show like a lot of the designs and stuff like that were available at those various times, and so really cool. But what'd you learn? Anything? Or you have fun learning anything that stood out? Is that smooth? Yes. Alrighty, so we've got that. And we've got one more. One more. But yeah, that's quite the book, and it is a little dry, so I wouldn't say it's a good read unless you're like really wanting to know about the history of it. It definitely covers that. This is not drilling how it should. Weird. It's the one they mentioned. Cool on the ink with a feather on it. Yes. Yeah, the old quill, huh? Man, this is not how this is supposed to be. See how wobbly that is? Whew. It's alright. We will make it work, dang it. I think there was something that was hard on the inside that may have offset it. I don't know. Well, that's nice and straight, at least. Yeah, Waterman's pretty old. I like all the different types of ink delivery mechanisms, like the lever filler, the piston filler, the vacuum filler, the bladder filler, the converter. You know, all the different types of things. I just enjoy, you know, thinking about those and trying to incorporate them into some sort of design of my own. Oh shit. That is so why is it like that? Holy guac. Alright, well we'll see what it looks like when we're completely done with that. Hopefully it won't be super wonky here. Yes, here we go. Now we can throw it on there. I mean it goes on there. Yes, my bad. I'm good now, right? Sorry about that. Thank you for pointing that out. Did I poke that one? Yes. I think it I think it was my thing actually died. Been wearing them out. Oh shoot. Yeah, looking at the back of my head. My bad. My bad, friends. Mm. Hmm. Yep. All right, how much turning? I've already got the cam and stuff set over here, so I'm going to turn these down even further. Yep. Grab a little swig of cafe. Any questions up into this point? Shoot, I've been doing a lot, so I don't know if y'all have any questions of like sequencing or whatever. But yeah, um, a different way, I suppose. Um, yeah, it's different than the other ones. So even the video that I have been progressively working on, I still owe. Well, I don't owe, but I'm still going to be doing a part 4. I think a 4, 5, 6. Mm-hmm. Oh shoot! Hold on. I finally got that thing that I was talking about. A lot of people have been asking me about. Um, let's see. Can you put the noodles into the blanks? And the answer is yes. But let me show you what it looks like. Um, okay, so sorry, there we go. So this is what it looks like, right? Now we did it translucent because we wanted to see it, but now when you have like a light to it, it looks a little parasite-y inside of an embryo. So you can see, what that does a little bit. But yeah, if you could see it this way, you'd be like, what the heck? Now, don't get me wrong, it could be cool. It's just, It's just that's, if you did a translucent, that's what you're going to see on the inside. So if you were going to use that, I would use it as like a filler and then make sure that none of it is visible. But yeah, that's that. Been meaning to show you all that, but I didn't. It was in my daughter's bedroom, so I had to steal it from her. Alrighty. So we're gonna go ahead and use a couple passes here to get her dialed in. But here, let me show you using the digital readout, just so you can see it. All right. So this is at 0, and then we're gonna measure the diameter here. And the diameter is 18. We'll say 18.9. So here we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to line my cutting edge. So I'm just like scraping it basically. There. The blade is in contact. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and turn my digital readout on. So it's at 0 and we're at 18, and I want to go to about 14. So we're going to creep up on it. So if I want to go to 14.5, I subtract 18 divided by, or minus 14.5, which is what, 4.3, 4, something like that. About 4.4. So we divide that 4.4 because we want diameter, and that's going to cut from both sides, right? Diameter in a circle like this, you have to divide it by 2 because you're going to be taking a millimeter from one side as well as the other side. So that counts. So it counts as half increments, right? 2 sides, diameter divided by 2. So if I'm at 18.8, I'm going to subtract it by 14.5 because that's what I want the final diameter to be. Or subtract it. That'll give me about we'll say 4.5 for the sake of math here, or 4.4, and then we'll go to 2.2 in this case, is about how far we're going to go, but I'm just going to go to 2 millimeters, and that will put me right where I need to be because I know that my carriage will dig even deeper if it's under a heavier cut load. So right now, I shouldn't be cutting anything, which I'm not. Right? And then I'm going to take the digital readout and I'm going to go in 2 millimeters on the digital readout part. There's 1. Now that's a big old bite. Now we're going to do, forget it. We'll do 1 3/4. 1 3/4. So by the math, we're a little bit off, right? So 2.2 is our target. We're going to be at 175, and that'll take a pretty substantial amount down. And yeah, we're just going to leave it there, and we're going to run it because I want to make sure that I have some on the back end especially, so I can still do my taper and then also have plenty of room in the front to where I can do a little bit of modifications of shaping. So let me get the vacuum turned on. And then, just so you kind of get an idea of how I would use a digital readout if I was, but I don't usually. I usually just, kind of feel my way towards it. It takes a little longer, but 2 millimeters is pretty significant to take off in one pass. So we're going to try to keep it a little under. This is snug, this is set. And then we'll measure it again, and we should be right around 14, 15 again. Yeah, we should be about 14, 15. or a little bit more. You can see this is a nice big old chunk that we're taking out. Like I said, this is about 1.75 millimeter, but if you divide that by 2, that's how much is getting taken off the bottom and then the top. So, and then I'm going to leave it there. And then because I've got it already here, I'll give it a measure here. So we were at 1887. Now we are at, we're at 15.5, which is right where we were wanting to be, because I wanted to not go all the way down to 14.5. So 1 mil is good. If I wanted to, what I would do to fine tune this further, I would go ahead and take this, so 15.4, I would go I'd go a half millimeter in. So what I can do is either I can add a half millimeter to the 1.75 that I'm at, or I could zero it and then go from there and then just go a half mil. I don't know if you're able to see that, but you just take my word, I dialed it into an extra half mil. So we're going to run it again and then see where we are. You can say we're taking a lot less off this go, which is nice. And one of the benefits of doing it like this is now I have the carriage dialed in and set up for that particular size, right? So it makes that repeatability aspect of it a lot easier now. All right, and then as for the measurement here, what we're looking at is 1470. Whoop. About 1468, 1470 there. So just so you know how the digital readout would be used, there you go. But I don't usually use that. Unless I was trying to get it dialed in for a specific purpose, for repeatability's sake, in which case I wouldn't move it from there. I would leave it there, and then all the other ones are going to get the same pass, and then all of them will be starting at the same point for the turning on the wood lathe. Okay, so this one, let's see, we'll take a look one more time. So this one right here is 1822. So I'm just going to leave it where it was and see if I can run a pass like that. One of the considerations for running big heavy passes like this is it's a tremendous amount of pressure. So you got to be careful of that. But it looks like we're going to have a nice smooth ride here. And then we'll stop it shy because we don't want to run it off the end. The reason you don't want to run it off the end is because it'll probably chip off that last little bit because of how much forward pressure there is, as well as the cutting. So you have to think that it's applying a lot of pressure forward as it's running along the lead screw down here. And so that's just one of the other considerations you got to have when you're doing pretty heavy cuts like that. And then we'll just, oh, we didn't measure it. Here, I'll show you the measurement real quick. So 0, now we are at, you see that? 1865. That's right where we want it. So now we got it dialed in. Is part of this one going to be the cap? Yes. Well, not these. I'm on the barrels right now. I'm still doing barrels. But I'll switch to caps here in just a moment. And then I'll re-gauge the measurements. Just going to back it off a little bit. But yeah, these are all barrels. And then the next part that I'll do after this trim will be one more barrel, and then I'll move to the caps. And then I'll do the sections. I'll do the sections on the wood lathe. But this is just kind of saving me a little bit of time of getting it dialed in to the right measurement for when I am trying to match up the cap and the barrel. Okay, I got one more, and then we'll switch over. Set, lock, engage. Cranker, speed up. Right. And then engage. Let's see. You'd like to know how to add a carriage to your wood lathe? I don't. There might be a kit, but you'll probably end up spending as much trying to get that kit to work as you would on like a new metal lathe. If it was a cheaper one, right? Okay, now we're going to do a little bit in reverse now. Okay, so if we're 0 and this is backed up to where it's going to start, I'm going to go ahead and dial that down, 0 it out. So if I'm at 1464 and I want it to be what? Let's say 14.5, we want it 16, so we'll need to multiply. We'll do that. Multiply by 2, I think. Or just completely redial it. Take it off, reset it. Okay. Oh, I gotta swap the mandrel here. There's our line. So we want our line to match up. So we'll have to, hey, look at that, lined right up. But we're gonna back out, let's see, 1 mil, 1 and a, I'm gonna back out at least 1 1/4 and see where that puts us. Alrighty. So I'm at 1 1/4 backed off now. So 1 1/4 times 2, so that's 2.5, which will be pretty good, I think. There we go. Something looking good today? Hey, what's up, Ben? How you doing? Oh, you missed me this morning? No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You didn't miss me. Come on now. The streams are early. But yeah, it's good to see you, man. I got my 4th of July shirt on. Missed, you know, I didn't miss 4th of July, but, you know. The streams are early. Alright, we're gonna actually hardly any people there. Oh, come on now. I don't believe that for 1 minute. Okay, we're 17. So we're gonna do this again, dial it in another half. There we go. So another ½ millimeter on the digital readout here will subtract another millimeter off of that. So this is a 1 millimeter pass. Only a monthly record of how few people? Is that what you said? A new record of how few? What were you doing? Alright, we are going to go ahead and back this out without adjusting it. I don't want to mess it up. Mess with it. Now we're at 1650, right where we would like to be, to have a little bit of customization. So I'm going to back it up just a little bit, like 1/10 of a mil or so. Let's see. Alrighty, alrighty. You and a few friends with Big Macs there? Just you and a few friends. Well, that's all we got here. Only got me and a few friends. I'm making a few more hollow forms and then recorded your first. Learn how to make a bow. Hey, look at you. Look at you. That's a good one. That's good. I'm going to get a lot of hits on that. It might be a slow burner, though. Sometimes you get tired of trying to figure things out by yourself. Yeah, I hear you. I like it. I enjoy it. If I want to figure it out, you know, that is. Wait! I don't know. You could have waited a second. What?
A section and a cap out of our normal 5-inch length for that.
Yes. When are we going to make that stream together? I don't know, man. I don't know. I got another topic. I'm a lone wolf. But yeah, I don't know, man. When are we? Whatever software, I'm gonna need to get it. So, if we use like a StreamYard or something like that. Yeah. Anyone here know about boring bar? You in the market for a boring bar? Not me. I don't think I'm your guy. I mean, I do have a boring bar. Oh, dang it. There we go. Right on, Ben. I'll see you around. Gotta get those. I gotta figure out how we can line it up to work it. But also, yeah, you know, it's summer and I'm gonna run this baby off. No, it would be a good idea or a bad idea. I don't know. We shall see. Yeah, it was fine. A fine idea. Yeah. There we go. That is done. We'll turn this silly thingy off. I'm just going to smooth it out a little bit here. Make sure I don't need to adjust that anymore. All I was saying about the carriage for the lathe is that by the time you get the mod for by the time you get the modification and the lead screw and all that stuff set up on a wood lathe, you know, you'll probably be in for a metal lathe already, or at least close to it. So that's what I said about that. But I don't think it would be too. It's more of a. You don't really need it. Yeah. But yeah, by the time you bought the mod for it, you'd probably be in for a couple $100 already, and it won't be as good because it won't be designed for that purpose necessarily. It'll just be, it can do that as well. But yeah. It is a nice feature though. If you do have a metal lathe, then you should be using the carriage for sure. But if you don't have a metal lathe, I wouldn't say that that's a deal breaker. Because I used to turn on a wood lathe entirely, but now I just do the drilling and trimming and then I'll do the final stuff, later. Let's see, what do we want to do now? I guess we're gonna continue, huh? Might as well continue making these until until I'm done. Let's see. So you want to bore out your cylinder not at home. What kind of mill? I don't know. That question's for you. About the Rottler boring bar. Let's see. I don't know which one I have got. It's a yellow box. Let's call it. Oh, there you are. This is the boring head and boring bar that I've got. I don't use it very much. But I was trying to use it for boring out a 1/2 inch. But that wasn't working because it's still angled. And then I was going to use it for rings, but I'm not much of a ring maker. So now I just have my boring set. Let's see, we're done over here. Unless I make a mistake. Alrighty, I gotta move this camera right here. So just a moment. Ah. Okay. Come on. There we go. You like the digital readout? Yeah. Well, it's not bad. It's just I don't really use it. So it's an upgrade that I purchased with the lathe that, if I went back, I wouldn't do it again necessarily. So with the stuff that I do, I have not needed that. Oh. But yeah, some of them actually don't have batteries. That's the only one with a battery, but it's got one on the on both the tailstock and the other slide. Okay, let's see. That's a good view. There we go. Get this out of the way. Alrighty. Let's move that up a little bit. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, that's not. You kind of see what I make. Make pens, so. Um, yeah. It was like it was an option, so I went ahead and got it. But looking back, it was, I don't know, like a $50 to $100 thing that I didn't actually need. So, but there was a lot of stuff about digital readout and stuff like that at the time, and I got lost in that buzz. So that's why I take everything with a grain of salt. It's like, yeah, I could do it. I don't need to, or I don't need to use it. Let's see. That's good. I'm gonna need a new mandrel here in a little bit. Let's go ahead and get Morty fixed up here. Ugh. That's perfect positioning for me, but there. Okay, now it's a matter of trimming these down to about 12 millimeter. That way they will fit inside of the cap. Good enough. All right, so we're at about 12. We're just a little over, but that's okay. Go down just a tad, I guess. There we go. That's good enough. All right. I've got to turn on Morty, my dust collector. There we go. Lock, engage. Let's go ahead and trim this down to about 12 mil. Out of here. Get out of here. You saw that the live center was still spinning. It's because I don't have it tight on there. I just have it supporting. You don't want to cram it in there. Let's take a look at this on its barrel here, because that's where it really matters. That looks good. And then for the other check, so want to make sure that that fits in there, right? And then you want to make sure that this fits in with no interference. And then if you get resistance, you got to determine whether it's the threads or the section or what. Man, these noodles are more noodly. So that's something. It feels like, well, I guess it's a note for happy, but it feels a little different than normal. But I'm not sure what kind of stuff was used in it. It's not a bad different either, it's just a different. At least I don't think it's a bad different yet. Could be. I haven't encountered it being bad yet. More. So you may or may not already know, but the most important things are the back end here and then the front end to make sure that those are 12, and then the middle will get dipped down. So not as important to make sure we got it in, assuming that we'll make that dip happen. So the back looks fine, the front looks a little, the back is also not yet, almost there. Perfect, and then yeah, there we go. And now we can go shaping here in the middle. Now we can check it on its barrel partner here. These are nice, nice. And then put that all the way together here. Chase some of these threads. I had to trim this one back, I think, before. So I'll make that little adjustment later on. Not quite. Almost. There we go. A little snug. A little snug. Let's see. Is it because of the section? Yes, a little bit. There we go. Much better. yet. Not yet. Well, dang. Here we go. And that should be good after I clean that little cut up there. Here we go. Let's check this out. I think I might need to take just a little bit more off. Let's see. No, probably good. Okay, we'll take a little bit more off. Just a little touch. A little touch. Some will come off with sanding as well, but we're going to use. Oh, there we go. Use a little square carbide right here. Alrighty, now that's done. Now the next thing I've got to do is take all these apart, measure the cap, and then off of the cap I need to measure the barrel. So, and all of these are going to be Marauders. But yeah, so the next thing I'm going to do here, I've got to get all these caps. So these are the caps that we got here. Whoop, you can't even see them. There's the caps. So what I need to do now is measure the depth here. And all I did was use the mark there to tell me the depth that I'm at, and then I'll use the other line as a reference line for the barrel for when I'm marking it at its overall length here. That'll be the cut line. Alright, here we are. Now for all the barrels. Let's, okay. That one goes there. This one goes here. This light like green one goes here, and this one goes here. Okay. There. Then I'm measuring here the dimensions or the final size that I want it to be. Like I said, this one was going to be close the whole time, so had to be aware of that. Boom. Okay, so those lengths are all measured. And now I gotta switch the mandrel. We're gonna do the barrel first, and then we'll do the cap. There we go. So barrel first. And I will, I guess, have to pivot the cam again here. Just a second, sorry. There, that's what I was doing. Now this will go on. And all these pieces can come back apart now. There's our cut line. Move this over a little bit. Sweet. For this line, I'm going to go ahead and just hit it with a pencil right quick so we can all see the line a little bit better. There we go. Gotta get all kinds of tools for this. Perfect. Looking at about 14 and a half there. I'm gonna do a little taper in here. going to flatten everything back out. Now we probably won't see these finished today, but you know, you can kind of get a little bit of an idea of what we're going to look like when we're all done here. What is the file for? The file is for leveling out everything, making everything flat and uniform. It's a secret, top secret. No, but it's just to make the surface flat. Because you can do it pretty well with the turning tool, but then when you go over to sand, you'll find a lot of high and low points that you might have put in while you were turning. If you're not able to ride like a good you can't ride a bevel all the way. In which case, I am not doing that because I've got a taper, so I can go. I can go pretty far. But sometimes you'll like speed up or slow down, and then it creates just like this little inconvenience. So it gives you a chance to smooth that part out. That way you don't have to worry about it being wavy. So like right now, it's pretty wavy actually, because I didn't do a good job. So I'll turn it down and I'll show you some of the high points right quick. Alright, so you can kind of see it right there already. So mostly when it's turning. So you can see these scratch marks here. So you can see these here. So like from right here to right here. And then from here to like here. You can see that some areas are like scratchy and some areas are not. They're shiny, right? So I'm just kind of bracketing them in. So this whole area right here needs to be flatter to be on level with this part over here. Yep. Yep. Huh. And I wasn't close to being done yet. But yeah. But yep, that's what it's for, and it is a great little trick. But you can also obviously just have a pretty flat, straight cut with the square, or pretty good with the round. Like, it's just to clean it up a little bit more, I would say. But it's better than using a lot of sandpaper to make it flatter, at least, I think. You got to be aware that you're going to heat it up a bit, though. So kind of bear that in mind when you're adding pressure or the speed of it, whatever you're doing. Just be aware that it will generate a lot more heat and stuff like that. So. And then it will have some gouges potentially if you caught an edge with it. So there's that. You want to make sure that you do it in a place that you can recover if that is something that happens. So if you've ever heard the expression a deliberate offset, it's when you intentionally do something a little bit over or intentionally a little bit under. It's just a deliberate, you were trying to do it to where you have to make a little correction one way or the other. Will it work with wooden blanks? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yep. As long as you don't want them, bubbly, because you got to go with the profile of the file. But yeah, it'll work with wood. It's just, like I said, it's just replacing the sandpaper for, yeah, it's just like replacing sandpaper, a very coarse grit sandpaper. And you can do some final shaping with it. Like if you're going for a little bit of more of a detailed something, then you can, you can mess with it a little bit and find out how it behaves with the different types of wood. Because sometimes it'll just dig right into some of the woods if they're softer. So yeah. Hey Vinny, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Okay, so from here, I'm just going to have to measure the barrels every time, and that'll be our target for the barrel diameter, which we're not too far off from in this one, at least. Hey, I did have a good 4th. It's still going. It's the 4th of July weekend, so I figured it might as well get another use out of my shirt, right? Yeah, man, it was good. It was a lot quieter than last time, actually. But it was good. We didn't usually. My mom is the host of the 4th, and fireworks is usually something that we go out there and do. And we didn't do very many fireworks this year, if any. We did like some bottle rockets here and there, a couple artillery shells, but nothing wazoo. We had a bunch of new babies, so. Asim, how you doing? How you doing, Asim? Okay, let's see how we're measuring here. Perfect. Cool. That's what we like to see. And then for this, you know, if I don't need to do a lot of shaping with the file, I'll use the finer side and just try to smooth it out a bit. That spot right there, we'll have to deal with at a later time. But no worries. Vinny, did you have a good 4th, man? You're here, so I assume it was relatively safe. Not too crazy. Some people go hard, real hard, with all the fireworks. And it is quite the spectacle. Okay, this one. Let's see. Let's see how we're looking here. Uh-huh. Perfect. That looks good to me. Calm and quiet. Oh, man. Is that good? Is that what you like? Get any workshop time? I thought about going, but I thought about streaming, but I didn't. Okay, so measure the barrel again. Okay. Not far, not far. Oh, gotcha. Well, I bet it was nice for her to have it relatively peaceful too, huh? So it's a little bulgy right here in the middle. So I've got to fix that. That will go down with just a little bit of filing. Nice. Lawrence, I also use the file if I need to go down a little bit as well. Like diameter-wise, I will use the file to do it to where I make sure that it gets flat to that point. It's just another use case, I suppose. It's a good little thing to have, that's for sure. Looking good. Yeah, you could definitely use a straight edge and put some sandpaper on it. That works too. This is just you know, so you don't have to keep replacing the sandpaper, and it's also roughing, so it definitely wouldn't be a finishing anything. It's a little rough for that. Do I do any pocket clips on any of my caps? No, not usually. For any of them, yeah, but no, not often. But I have in the past. I've tried it here and there, but it's still one of those things that I haven't spent enough time and doing enough repetitions and stuff like that. But, you know, I did incorporate it into my process at one point, but not often. There's been a lot of people that requested them, though, so if you do pocket clips, don't be deterred, because a lot of people do like pocket clips with them as well. I've got one that I've actually got to put a clip on anyways, unfortunately. So this one was a part of the cherry blossom one that I was doing. Right, it was all like good and stuff, and then I broke the heck out of the cap here. So I'm gonna have to use one of these little pieces right here. So what I'm gonna end up doing is finding out where it sits on the inside here, and then trying to cut as little back as I can, and then making a little tenon and, you know, putting this on there so the cap can be there. or the clip can be there. But I have yet to do that. But no, I don't do it very much. And I've had minimal complaints about it. It really is, you know, people that put them in their pocket. And fountain pens aren't necessarily like the best pen to put in your pocket, you know. So a lot of people keep their fountain pens in a case with like their stationery and everything. They don't usually put I don't really need a clip for it. But a lot of people, they like the roll stops. They do like clips as well, and but no, I just typically do not. You know, there's a variety of reasons, but for the sake of showing you that I am capable of it, this is one of the ones that I did a clip with. I haven't gotten the ratio where I like it, so I think what I'm going to have to do is shorten the section up a little bit, because, you know, I made it so it had a lot of extra room, so a lot more so I really need to, you know, reduce that cap size. But I can. I just opt not to. Do you use clips on all your pins? What the heck? It's close. Close enough. I can mail them to you. I can mail that one to you. Well, no, then people would know that I made it. And then they're going to want one, and then... And see, that's kind of where it you know, comes down to the individual maker as well, that you can make yourself stand out just by putting a clip on. And then if you have the possibility to if you have the capability, you can laser on them, or give it or send it to somebody else that can laser on it. Not really, but got a request for one. What kind of source? Like for clips? Beaufort's got a lot. Turner's Warehouse has pretty much the same as Beaufort as far as clips go. Or did you mean a source of somebody showing you how to do it? I think Turner's has done it. Chad. Yeah. Yeah. Depends on what you're looking for. A source for the actual clips themselves, or how to do it. I'd have to spend a little bit more time before I felt comfortable like teaching anything about it. Or teaching how to do it. Like, yeah. I can do it, right, but it takes a little bit of finickiness, potentially. Just the clips. Yeah, Beaufort or Turner's. They've got a lot of sizes, so you can measure it against whatever size that you're going to be doing. Let's see. I've gotten other clips as well, like from knives, but I haven't figured out a good way to do those yet. Yeah. I will say this resin feels just a little softer in general. So that's a little interesting. Boom. There we go. These are the ones that we just made here. Obviously not sanded and polished, but looking good nonetheless. Let's see, how long did that take? 3.5 hours? Whew. There you go. 4 pins, 3.5 hours. They're not sanded and polished yet, but it's probably my new record, huh? Just being casual though. I'm just moving, you know, constantly moving forward. Yeah. Well, shoot. All right, just gonna tidy up a little bit. Hey, Abby, will you hit Morty? I'm all done with those.
What?
Mm-mm. But yeah. There we go. There. I'm gonna wrap it up too, either two. It's a good Sunday. Oh man. You want to talk about that?
Oh, it's my favorite one yet. So
Are you
I.
on cam? It's over there.
Oh, can you turn it this way?
Where? You want to sit?
No, I'll stand for a minute. I'm not gonna. Yeah, that's perfect. So I talked about this a little bit on stream. John has been
Making ebonite.
making ebonite pens for me, like a lot of them, and this is what I have been working on with them. So plain black ebonite. Yep. And we just announced this new series. So I'm calling it the Arcana series. It's got, it's going to have a lot of different kind of color variations of the different pens. You can't see.
I'm just trying to make this so
Sorry, John's moving stuff. Anyways, so it's a very cool color shift cat's eye effect. And this one I just finished. Well, it's actually not even done, but this is the body of another one. So I did a post about them last week. But yeah, I'm super excited to bring these to shows, especially because I've done my best to kind of capture how freaking cool they are. And it's been really hard. It's really hard to get like a really good video and a picture of these, but I'm super excited about them. I'm calling them kind of my version of Urushi because
My Rushi.
it takes
A Rushi.
hours and hours, honestly, per piece. Just out, and that's just on the finish. That's not even obviously taking into account. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. I'm really excited about them. I think they're turning out super cool. Thank you, Vinny. Hi, Lauren. But yeah, so John turned those blanks that I got last year in Orlando from Lisa Marie, or Poorly Controlled. That's her tag on Instagram. And her stuff is just so unique and cool. And oh my god, these are even cooler turned. Yeah, so I know this one's called Blue Plasma. This one's called Silver Linings. I think this was Hydrangea something, and this one didn't have a name. So these are going to look even cooler, obviously sanded and polished. I bought this Silver Linings one for John to make into a pin for me, so I might keep it, this one. But yeah, I'm excited to get these finished. They'll go in my need to be finished pile, which is growing bigger and bigger every day. I think after I finish the pin I'm on for the ebonite, that some of my work this week is going to be working on some regular fountain pen finishing, because we're getting close to yeah. Well, and the other, well, for you, that's the other thing. You're gonna have to double turn a batch this week if we need to do that. You've already got.
We can talk about that.
Anyways, that's a whole thing. But yeah, we're busy and enjoying it, and yeah.
Crushing it.
Yeah, these are really cool.
Fun. Doing stuff, the thing.
I know I need to take a picture and post a picture of these before they're finished.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Well, now they're out of my hands. They're in yours.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I know. Well, good job.
Thanks.
Thanks for hanging out with him, everybody.
Yeah. Top over here.
Oh my god, it like hit off my head.
A bit of this, a bit of that. There. Yeah. All right. Well, man, that was a good stream. I made 4 in about 3.5 hours.
Yeah, that's good.
So, yeah. These blanks were made by Poorly Controlled, Lisa Marie. If you wanted to go get some of those.
She's got really cool
blanks.
Real
nice lady to work with, too.
And she
is
talented. Yeah, she is going to be at the DC Pin Show. She doesn't have a table. She said she's going to be walking around with a backpack of blanks. If you're there and want to check hers out in person. And then I'm pretty sure she's going to be in Orlando again because she's from Florida area. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are neat. Those are neat.
Yes. Very cool.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you being here, and we'll see you next time. Probably tomorrow.
Bye.
Or the next day. I don't know.
Next couple of days.
Monday or Tuesday. We'll see if my dad comes or not. I don't know. So yeah, Monday or Tuesday will be the next stream here. Yep.
You're so pretty.
All right. Well, hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your weekend and be safe. We'll see you next time.
Bye.